We call it self-confidence loss. We call it self-doubt. We call it depression. I'm just going to call it lies as we talk about it on I Should Be Writing, Season 18, Episode 14, sponsored by Catwood, who told me what episode it was. Thank you, Catwood. Now let's get going.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for wannabe fiction writers, science fiction writers, and I'm your host, Mur Lafferty. And we stream live on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/MightyMur. And I actually wrote a pleasant opening script so I'd make sure to hit everything, and now I can't find it. I'm so good at this. Okay. Anyway, my pronouns are she, her. I've been writing... I don't know. How do you decide when you start writing? When you decide to take it seriously? When you sell your first novel? I don't know. But I've been podcasting since 2005 when I hadn't sold anything except for some RPG work. And now I've got working on my 6th book? I don't know why I can't remember that number. Yeah, working on my next book. I got a novella and a novel coming out this year, and I like to talk about the things writers go through and try to help out some new writers on this podcast. So, to tell you what I've been up to, I was getting really, really itchy because I knew I was writing out of sequence, which is okay, but I realized that it's a murder mystery. It has to be a murder mystery. That's what this series is. It's called The Mid-Solar Murders. It's about murders that happen on the space station. But I had interesting people coming to the station, and I got interesting things happening to the aliens who were in the first book, and I was just having fun. And then I realized I had about 20,000 words, and no one was dead. So, I've been reacquainting myself with Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and so today I took all the scenes that I had and I wrote out what each of them was. These two people fight, these two people arrive, the shuttle from Earth gets there, and I assigned each one to a Save the Cat beat, and then I went through and filled out the rest of what I have planned. And next step is to go through the outline I already have and make it fit in there too, because I'm not a good outliner, so I had an outline set up, and then suddenly I started writing, and another story came to mind, and I can't turn in something entirely different than I told my editor, but I cleaned up what I have mostly. I'm a big fan of Scrivener. I'm not sponsored. I made little cards on the Scrivener file to indicate each beat. Then I started cleaning it up. So, started with the very beginning, and it's really funny because I already found like one major continuity error in the first 1,000 words, and that is my character's walking through snow. And then I remember I did some research. I don't know how I got there, but I did some research on Pluto. And there's snow on Pluto. It's methane. Pluto's got a methane atmosphere. It's very red. I don't know if it's like water, like there was life there once or what, but there's red snow on Pluto. There's an area of Pluto called the Cthulhu region. I mean, there's a lot about Pluto that I did not know. So, I had decided to make her situation walking through snow as if it were Pluto. And so I've got being cold in the snow and the snow is white. And then I've got being cold in the snow, and the snow is red. I mean, so I started working on those. So total 600 some words. I did put a word count thing in the chat, and y'all can't hear it at home. So it is, today I had 634 words plus my outline. And then February is total, both this project and another project, is 6,265. And for 2022, the total is 27,890. Not bad. I'm liking this tracking the year in Scrivener. Very glad you guys told me how to. So yeah, then we go to, after I talk about what I've been up to prove that I'm, trying to do the same thing you are. We talk about good news. Do I have any good news? Yes, my book cover and I guess a first look at the novel will be out on IO9 this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are a Patreon supporter, you will get an email. If you look at my website or follow me on Twitter, you'll get the note when that post goes up. And you can bet I'll be just crowing about it all day. I'm so excited. This cover is just beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. It's I think it encompasses, it's a story about a woman. There's a woman on it. And it's spacey, but there's not pew-pew ray guns. There is a space battle, but it's definitely not one you would expect. So, it encompasses that story about a woman in space, an alien aspect, and it just all works together. I'm just so excited to finally be able to show it off. So, that's my good news. Oh, and I was so touched, my friendly local independent bookstore, Flyleaf Books in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, asked me to do a launch event in October. So I'm hoping the pandemic lets me do that. So if you are anywhere near the area, think about coming to Flyleaf Books in October, because that might be fun. And I'm going to check on chat right now. If y'all have any good news, let me know. After looking at the beat sheet, did it look like you needed to kill someone off long before that 20k mark? Yes. Yes, I know I need to kill somebody much quicker than... but I didn't even have the humans arriving at the station yet. Yes, it does snow farts on Pluto. I did call... I did text my astronomer friend, Dr. Pamela Gay, and asked her some methane questions. It can snow metal on Venus. That's pretty metal. Kay Kimmy has news. That's got a new kitten. That's exciting. Ah, yes, Meerkat. It's so delightful to hear me squee about it real time during a Nano mini-sode. Yeah, that was, I guess I had just tried to prepare myself to not love it, because I know that there are graphic designers whose job it is to make you pick up a book, and that's the point of a book cover. So if I don't like it, that's okay. With obviously some things are accepted, but it doesn't have to be exactly what's in the book, but it's yeah, I did not expect to love it that much, and I really do. I fixed some major issues in a short that were uncovered by some kind readers on the Discord. I think I'll finally be comfortable enough to submit it after one more revision pass. That's great, Daniel. 2 rejections since last Thursday. That's great. I'm going to count those. 1 rejection. Did it work? No, it didn't. I gotta hit the thing. I forgot. I don't know why, but I have to, even though I've got it set up to count, I have to hit start every time. So, now it's started. Now we got rejections increasing. All right. Okay. I'm catching up. I've been writing daily for almost over a week now. Okay, yay button for writing daily, and the cats and the rejections. You guys are just living the best life. And now Kay Kimmy has summoned Evil Mur. Let's make sure that we don't have any other good news to talk about, because Evil Mur is not really good with the good news. She's not helpful there. And I'm going to find a mustache. Summon Evil Mur. You're summoning Evil Mur. Give me Evil Mur. Bad writing advice number 13. Choose one agent and make them your favorite. Add holiday-themed glitter and cards to your physical submission. Don't bother finding out their religion. It doesn't matter. Now they know they're special. Tell them they're the only agent for you and you're going to quit writing if they won't sign you. That will push them to act. Also tell them that every other client they have is garbage, and they will really hit it big if they represent you. And tell them you will be at their offices tomorrow for a meeting. And put their address in there so they know you're serious. That is how you get an agent in this business. Don't listen to Evil Mur. Evil Mur lies. Which, is a good segue. Because yesterday we were talking about, how do you keep going if you feel lousy? I've been honest about the fact that I've had a couple of bad days this winter. I mean, God, who hasn't? Just where the energy's not there, or the ideas aren't there, or the self-confidence isn't there. The thing is, when I came up with this, it was like a big epiphany. Like the clouds parted and everything was, there were angelic singing voices and stuff, but it's hard to remember every time. And so I have to remind myself that emotions are not reality. So I'm going to go off on the side part here and tell you that I'm not invalidating anything you're feeling, because every writer knows that we will have those days where we feel like we can't write, or feel like an imposter, or feel like if we did have some success, it'll never come again. Or if you get an agent, they'll drop you. I mean, no matter where you are in your career, these little fears come up, the self-confidence. And, if you have a book that doesn't do well, you think it's over. And while those emotions are very real, they're real inside you. They're not reflecting reality. So what I mean is, I get up one day and I feel great and I do some writing. And I get up the next day and I feel like garbage. And I'm not going to write because I'm going to write garbage and I'm a terrible person and I am just not set up for this job. What has changed? Look on the outside. What has changed? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I'm not even saying I got bad news. I'm not even saying something went wrong or my Amazon ranking went down or anything. These are just how I felt when I woke up. Nothing has changed. This is so hard to talk about because I can't emphasize enough that the feelings you're feeling are real. And I'm not saying buck up. I'm not saying put on your big person pants. I'm not saying any of that. But I'm saying that when you're feeling this way, you have to remind yourself that very likely nothing has changed except how you feel. And for me, especially recently, I mentioned this yesterday on the stream, that I've been sloppy with taking my meds recently. I'm entirely honest about the fact that I take medication for depression and ADHD. And if I miss a couple of my depression meds, then it hits me days later. And so if I realize I've been bad at taking them, I have to keep in my head that there's going to be a dip in my future. And when it comes, I have to do that thing where I just did it to say, this is not reality. What I'm feeling, the feeling is there. It's real, but it is not reflecting reality. Everything this feeling is telling me is lies. Depression lies. Anxiety lies. It all lies. And so when I feel that way, whether I remember whether I've taken my meds or not, I have to think. I got to go down to the basics and think, have I been taking my meds? Have I been getting enough sleep? Have I been eating? Before the podcast started, I was being taken to task by chat for not eating lunch. Which I'm sure Numbers Ninja will be grateful to you guys, because it was her job to make sure I ate when she was home. And I'm definitely not saying, it's like, I'm not saying you can fix your depression by just good living. I do not subscribe to that at all. But it is true that your foundation, your mental foundation, is based on physical things. It is true that if you get enough sleep, you'll be better off. If you exercise, however you can exercise, those endorphins will help you. So when things go bad, you can sit there and think, I'm a garbage writer. Or you can say, I feel bad and it sucks. And I need a hug and possibly a nap, a snack, a reset, something. Make sure you're taking care of the foundations. When something goes wrong that's like actually something that goes wrong, my first 2 books were not bestsellers at all. It took me 4 years to earn my advance out. When I got the offer for 6 Wakes, it was 30% less than the offer for Shambling Guide. Because my first books didn't do well. And I started out on 6 Wakes thinking they don't have a high opinion of how this book's going to do. So how can I? And it was rough. But then it's good to think that whenever something hits you, work is a good fixer. And I mean that no one can ever stop you writing. It's outside things may happen to make you want to stop, but no one can actually stop you. So if you're worried about Project X, then work on Project Y. Work on the project no one cares about. Work on the project no one knows about. No stakes, but you're still writing. I hesitated to talk about this because, again, this is that whole, my emotions are not reality. But based on the past, I have only ever successfully done the artist's way once. And I've tried to publicly do the artist's way on this podcast twice more after that. And I have not succeeded. But I was thinking about feeling low. I was thinking about talking myself out of this book and thinking, I need to read Julia Cameron again. So I started Finding Water again this morning. I don't know how much I'm going to check in with you guys, because I really do have that setting myself up fear. Setting myself up for a fall, I should say. But I was reading the first chapter, and she's talking about she was trying to do a Broadway show. And they finally got to where they could do their backers audition, I think it's called. where they basically put on the show for 2 nights and a whole bunch of people with money come and decide whether they want to fund it. And then, so they did their shows. The shows went great. And then they're like, okay, now we have to wait for someone to call. And that feeling of the self-doubt and every day you don't get a call and how bad that feels. And she says, someone reminded me I had to turn to something else. I had to do work on something else to remind myself that I can keep going. And that'll keep you from just staring at the phone, even though we don't do that anymore, but hitting refresh on your email. Shards hides from my own emotions. Today is not a great day. I don't actually know how I'm getting words out right now. So the timing of this topic is coincidentally perfect for me. Shards, I want you to scroll up until you find when you told me what your word count was for the day. Because whatever your emotions are telling you, the word count tells you otherwise, because you're doing great today. Also, if you can manage some words, any words, just a couple of words, on your bad days, it's very likely once you're done with this project and you look back on it, you can't say, I felt like crap these days, because it's all your writing. It's going to all sound the same. So you can't say it's if you could just get some words out, they're probably just fine. I've seen my best-selling author friends going through these emotions. I have a hard time keeping myself from saying something unhelpful, like, I wish I had your problems. They're real emotions, just my rejection dejection is. Yes, we all look at people who are doing better than we are. Martha Wells won 2 Hugos this year. I am just guessing, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. They had to alter the ceremony a tiny little bit because she won 2 Hugos back to back, and they needed time for her to get back to her seat to come back up on stage. So that they threw a little skit in before Best Novel. Martha Wells' career was almost over before Murderbot. It was going poorly. I don't know all the details. But I know that when she won the Nebula a couple of years ago, she was just she thanked her agent because she's like, I thought it was over. And this agent helped me turn around and get back to it. And I even had when I was doing mentor stuff for Stone Coast, somebody was telling me he was really liking this new author, Martha Wells. And I'm like, she's not new, not at all. You just noticed her because she's really hot right now. So, even if you get a career and it tanks, you could be Martha Wells. You could invent you could do the next Murderbot. You could do the next, I'm going to win 2 Hugos back to back. And yeah, we my friends and I like to quote, Friends, the show, when, my diamond shoes are too tight and my wallet's too small for all my 50s. There are problems. There are self-doubt plagues people, and I know when you guys see people with actual publishing credits and income coming in, you're thinking, well, what's the problem? But at the end of the day, it all feels the same. I've decided when I don't feel like writing, what I should be writing, that I'm going to just write whatever, even if it's my feelings about not feeling like writing. It has helped and led to the seeds of some new stories. That's great, Daniel. I love that. Because, I remember when we had a teacher come in, 5th grade or something. We were doing journal writing. And we were told that if we don't know what to say, then to write, I don't know what to say. And write it over and over again until you think of something. Sometimes when you don't know what happens next, I shouldn't say you, I'll say me, because it works for me. Sometimes when I don't know what happens next in a story, I will go from narrative voice to just 100% telling. Okay, what happens in this scene? This guy goes here. Whatever happens there someone gets angry, there's a fight, and then they end up here. I don't know how they get from here to there. We're going to have to work through that. I write all of this down literally as I'm thinking about it, as if I'm just telling the scene to somebody. And usually that can lead to something I can write. Or write something only tangential. I still can't say that word. A little bit of a tangent off from your main topic and see what happens there. But there are ways to go about it. Depression lies, yes, says Underpope. My mom suffers from depression. I remind her of that. Come by mine, honestly. Same, Underpope. Same. I found reading fiction for a few minutes can lower stress levels significantly. Maybe I need to set a timer and read for a few minutes when I'm feeling too stressed to write. I will, and again, this is just me, I'm speaking from my experience. It may not bother you at all. If you do this, do not read in your own genre. I think I've said it before. While writing 6 Weeks, I had to stop reading The Expanse because The Expanse was so good that I just felt like reading The Expanse made me feel bad about myself and my book. So, and my book's not really like The Expanse. It's just, they're both space things happening. But The Expanse is a freaking epic, and mine was a murder mystery. And The Expanse has huge political maneuverings and a huge cast, and I had 6 people. So, very different, but still, reading this space story was just making me feel bad. So, yes, read fiction. I'm not sure if you should read something in your own genre. Maybe reread fiction. I'm rereading Stephen King again. I'm about halfway through Misery right now. It's just good advice for anyone writing or otherwise. A lot of it I paid good money to therapists for most of my life. Words of wisdom for no charge. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Okay, Kimmy, I forget the difference between Artist's Way and Finding Water. That is a good thing to bring up, okay, Kimmy. Thank you. So, Julia Cameron started with The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way is a sort of creativity stimulator class you put yourself through. It's a 12-week. You read 1 chapter a week. You do the exercises. A lot of it is it's on the level of affirmations and opening yourself up to the universe. I know a lot of people are not on board with that. They don't like thinking like that. They don't believe in anything like that. Personally, I kind of come to terms with it by saying the Artist's Way helps me realize the opportunities around me. The Artist's Way does not magically make the universe give me opportunities. It makes me see that they're there and maybe get some confidence to go for them. But she came up with this course called The Artist's Way, involving morning writing and walks and artist dates. And so The Artist's Way is kind of, if you've ever considered pursuing anything in art, this might help you get started. A lot of the things you're doing is you're thinking back on your past and thinking, whoever stifled me? Who told me I couldn't do this? Who told me I shouldn't do this? Women, science fiction writers, women science fiction writers, we know a lot about this. It'll make you, journal about that and try to uncover who tried to stifle you and maybe write something about it. It's a very introspective type system. After she did after she did The Artist's Way, I think she was chronicling her own creative path, and she started Finding Water to sort of talk about people who maybe a little bit further in their career, like how I feel now. I did publish some books, and I got some recognition, and it was exciting, but I'm still feeling like it could all fall down any minute now. It's a Jenga tower. So Finding Water is for a little bit later on in the career, mid-career type focus. She's also got Vein of Gold, which I have, but I haven't looked at. Then she's got Walking in This World, which I think focuses a little bit more on the walking meditative side of her already existing practices. And then there's one about money, which I kind of listened to, but didn't really get a lot out of. So she's got several different books. You might think, well, they're kind of all the same because they're all talking about embracing your creativity and following these practices. But if you really get into it, you might appreciate reading the same thing in a different sort of focus a different time. So I'm actually not doing The Artist's Way. Technically, I'm doing Finding Water. So, yeah. That is the difference. I know I'm doing good, but it's really hard. Yes, we are here for you. We know it's hard. You can feel she was having fun writing Murderbot when you read the books, yes. When I get stuck, I put bolded notes and brackets just to say what I want to do or what I'm stuck on, yes. Yeah, so it's like when you're feeling bad, remind yourself that depression lies. There's a lot of chemicals in your brain that make you think different things. And those chemicals may or may not be affected by sleep, your medication, your food intake, your water intake, stuff like that. If you really wake up and feel like garbage, ask yourself what's different today than the last time you wrote and you didn't feel like garbage, because I'm guessing it's not going to be very much. And if you're really not feeling the project you're doing, trick yourself. Trick the little thing in your brain that's lying to you and work on something else, because they may not see that coming. And I'm going to go ahead and end the official podcast here, and then we're going to continue in chat with BarCon. And if you want to participate, come and hang out with us Tuesday, Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where I record this live and chat with chat for a little while longer, or you can download it from Patreon, patreon.com/MightyMur, where you can get the recording of this entire discussion. But you can support me at Murverse.com, where you can see all my stuff. My book, Station Eternity, is available for pre-order. And if you're an Audible subscriber, then my novella, The Ophelia Network, will be coming out in May. And Patreon, my website, I have a newsletter that this week's is about half done. I got to get it out. And hopefully see you Thursday. And until then, you should be writing. I Should Be Writing is available to you under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Theme music by John Emilio. Art by Numbers Ninja. Production by Summer Brooks. And hosting by Libsyn. Find all of this information and more at Murverse.com. And remember, we can't do this without you. Thanks for your support.
I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.